Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. All right, this is the SSW rules sprint review and retro. So we've been working on getting TNCMS working. Our sprint goal this sprint was to get MDX files rendering. That was not quite achieved. Caleb, do you want to talk about why that was so painful?
Yeah, so I managed to get a build against the cut content branch for Tina, but I ran into issues when getting it to build against the main branch. Sorry, did I say the main branch for rules? I meant the main branch for wait, no, did I say the main branch for Tina? I meant the main branch for SSW rules. So yeah, I had issues when I tried to build it against all of SSW rules, and it was difficult to try and diagnose locally because building rules locally takes quite a long time. So I dabbled in creating a separate storage account using my NPN subscription that I could upload the build artifacts to instead, but ran into separate build errors there.
Yeah, so that one was quite painful. It's a bit annoying. The other big PBI I want to call out was we made a decision to migrate from our custom reactions and our discus comments to Giscus, which means our comments
Discuss.
and our Giscus, sorry, which means our comments and our reactions will be in the same place in GitHub discussions on the rules content repo, which once it's done will be a nice solution, I think. All right, there wasn't many duns this sprint, and yeah, those are the two big ones. So I'll move on. Timesheet data. Barbara and Tyler full time. Caleb was not quite full time, and I just spent a little bit of time. Gilles and Hugo aren't here because they're in French time pro. And Isaac was at Porto NDC, which is why he's not here. Right, we had 0 code releases this sprint. And App Health, the error we were working on this sprint, which was this js.monitor.azure thing from App Insights, this one was improved, but I'm not convinced it's fixed. Baba mentioned something about it's being cached, and that's why it's still an error. But it has gone down a lot, so maybe if we give it some time, will be fixed. Anyway, I've got a PBI to look at another one of the huge errors. There's 13,000 instances of Google Analytics failing, so I've got a PBI to look at that. All right, as for the Tina migration progress, we completed 2 PBIs this sprint and didn't make any new ones. R&D, so Jules and Hugo were still working with Jack P to get visual editing working. So we've left that one there. What went well? So Caleb mentioned some good work came from Bubba, and I'm happy we made a decision to move away from Discuss to Giscus, and Jack is also excited about that. Jack thanked Gilles for some great work on visual editing. It was painful because it's just kind of exploration and research. So it's not super rewarding because we didn't get anything working, but it is useful work. Isaac is happy we changed we are changing direction because we're struggling with Gatsby. So we'll talk about that more in a second. The whole team acknowledged that we didn't have many duns this sprint, but we had some difficult PBIs and we still learned a fair bit, which is good for our progress overall. Caleb mentioned testing rules is painful just in general because we have 3,000 rules. So you can test it on a subset of that, but there's going to be new errors with a different when you try run your code on all 3,000 rules. So it's just painful, but not sure how to fix that because we just have lots of rules. Gilles was a bit frustrated because he did a lot of work and it felt like a waste. But I don't think it'd be a waste. I think we'll come up with some good documentation from it that will be useful still. All right. I might just bring up this email now, which is just a little thing it's a big change in direction actually. So this came just a few minutes before the sprint review. We decided to, instead of keep trying to get Tina working with Gatsby, we're going to change directions a bit and try using Astro. The main reason for that is because Astro is the most requested framework on Tina IO chatbot. So there's heaps of people looking for this. So if we can come up with a nice solution for that framework, that's going to be a lot more valuable for Tina, the Tina team, and the Tina community. And hopefully we can escape a lot of the pain we've been having with Gatsby. So about all the work that we've been doing up to this point, that's not going to go to waste. We're going to turn all that knowledge into documentation. We're going to build a Gatsby starter based on the POC that Jules and Hugo and Jack have got, and maybe even record a video with that. And then we'll change directions and look at Astro plus Tina and create a nice solution for that. So that brings us to the sprint planning. So the sprint plan is on Tina IO, I want to have some up-to-date documentation on Gatsby and Tina. So there's a few PBIs here. I might just call out this one, which is document Gatsby plus Tina. This is a high-level one, and Isaac's going to work on this one, but I'm guessing it'll turn into a few smaller PBIs. It's basically looking at the work we've done and how we're going to split it up a bit, how we're going to document what we've learnt. And the other cool PBI here is going to be Gilles and Hugo's focus, and that's creating a Gatsby starter based on the proof of concept. So that'll be really cool. Yeah. And you'll notice there's still lots of Tina CMS issues in this sprint. They all have small estimates though, and they are just there because we're going to just look at what we've got done so far, document the problems we've had, and then just close them off if there's no value in them. All right, so that's the sprint plan. Any questions?
I just want to clarify. So the change to go to Astro, the main reason for this is the pain of using Gatsby at the moment, right? It's not because it's more popular. Because if it is about popularity, I think this conversation already happened with Adam. And if it's because it's painful, then I think that's fair.
Yes, the original plan was to do it with as few changes as possible with rules, and then we'd be able to have a like not a use case, but like a scenario where people have been using Netlify or Decap CMS and they've transitioned to Tina CMS, and it's been seamless. Here are the steps you have to go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. That's not the case because they're going to hit a lot of issues with the changeover. And then we're on a call with Scott this morning on the Tina Cloud and Tina CMS sprint review. And his comment was that the whole Gatsby team has been laid off. So there's an argument to say, hey, this isn't going anywhere. We checked the commit history, and it's just Dependabot pushing package like security updates, nothing meaningful. So that coupled with Astro being the most requested framework, this Astro was kind of our second choice anyway in terms of doing it, but we would have had to modify the content repository. If we have to modify it, we might as well go Astro and go all in. Adam made the comment during the review that, hey, maybe SSW people use Hugo, and then not you, Hugo, the framework Hugo. And yeah, John finally clicked.
I don't think you want to get
Hugo to work on Hugo.
Yeah, we'll get Hugo to work on Hugo. And then maybe we've got a few different, like we're dogfooding a few different implementations, and instead of we only do Next.js and that's it.
Okay, I get the story better now. It makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of context helps.
Yeah.
Astro's gonna have similar problems to Gatsby in that Astro 5 just shipped a plugin system. But at least the community has gotten Astro working with Tina CMS and visual editing already. We just don't have a starter template for it. So if we could get that as well, that would be awesome.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Cool.
It's been requested at Porter as well.
Astro.
Oh, cool.
There you
Couple
go.
times.
If Gatsby is no longer something we are worried about supporting, should we spend our time making that Astro starter instead of a Gatsby starter?
I
Or
think it's
would it
still
still be a good idea?
like there's been effort spent on Gatsby. There's still people using Gatsby out there. Most probably won't. They may not want to change. So let's just at least have the option there. But I wouldn't take it much farther than that.
It won't
So,
be
okay,
out.
we got visual editing working. Here's a starter. It's
Cool.
community supported now.
Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, Matt. So this will be uploaded to the SSW.Rules YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Is recording ceased?
Recording ceased.